Welcome back, Kris. How's it been this past week?
Really good, man. We're obviously starting to get some camp updates. Always cool. Starting to see some highlights. Obviously, a couple days ago, like the Cam Coleman one-handed snag, which was
That was
awesome. But I
awesome.
want to know. I want to know who threw it and if it got tipped. But no, it's been awesome here recently. Like I love seeing clips from camp. It kind of lets you know that like we're getting closer and closer to season. You're starting to hear more and more from coaches, which I really enjoy. And it's like the I call it tea leaf reading season. Trying to read the tea leaves, all while kind of like, should I feel good about my top 25? Should I feel bad about my top 25? I put this team ahead of this team because I like their linebacker group more, but this linebacker coach doesn't seem as confident. It's just doing all of that right now
Yeah.
and kind of second guessing and third guessing things. But things have been good, man. Just obviously like recording a lot, as you know. I mean, you're the only one in this industry, I think, that records more than me. I'm excited to get closer and closer to season, dude. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing well, I would say. I'm excited for season because it's only 3 weeks away, and
Mhm.
I'm kind of anxious to just tidy up some things, put the bow on the present that's been the preseason
Yeah.
and get on to what I think could be one of the more exciting regular seasons
Okay, so you call
in
it
the
you
Big
call
Ten.
it you call it preseason. You don't call it camp?
I call everything before the regular season preseason. There's no off season around here, and when I occasionally use that word,
Okay.
it's because everyone else does, and I'm just so used to it.
Yeah, because I go off season. I go off season, spring, off season, camp season.
No, it's all the preseason because there's just so
Okay.
much to look at and so much to talk about.
There you go. Sam's philosophy. It's always preseason over here.
It's something I've adopted from Josh Pate, and that is a part of my core ideology. Is that
Okay. Well, you're
so?
better than me. I turn it off in the off season. I act like nobody's listening and I say all the ridiculous stuff.
Well, hey, you don't want to read too much into things
No.
because
Well,
that can
I
sometimes
do
get you in
the
trouble.
I treat media like a sport separately. So like I cover media people sometimes in the off season. It's like a for fun, like is anybody listening kind of thing. But it's good. It's good that we are close to football though. I think we can both agree.
Absolutely. So more on the media portion later, but just
Mhm.
to start off, is there anything that you are hearing from the fall camp side across college football that you think is important to talk about?
I mean, like things that I'm like pretty in tune with is the Ohio State conversation. Like, and it sounds like they're going to be really deep in the secondary this year. Not sure like what it's going to look like without two aliens playing linebacker, which I think is intriguing. I'm anticipating there to be a first rounder on the defensive line and it not to be Kenyatta Jackson. I think that might be a hot take in Ohio State sphere. I think Edric Houston is going to be the best lineman this year. I think he played last year, kind of hurt. So that's kind of like where a lot of my focus has been. I'm paying close attention to Oregon, trying to hear what Dan Lang's getting at. But I did see that they had the Amari kid on the freaks list, and kind of reading his stats and what he's up to this offseason. It's kind of been absurd in terms of like size, speed, all that. I mean, they have their defensive line this year. It's like the same profile with like aliens as Miami's defensive line was a year ago in terms of like profile with
Yes.
aliens. So I'm keeping pretty close tabs on that. And obviously, you want to hear and see and sift through things to see if Arch Manning's made a leap and kind of if they're ready to put more and more on his plate as a thrower and not just a runner. So kind of just ear to the streets right now. I haven't heard too much to kind of maybe adjust things. I still think that like probably Georgia has the best offensive line in America.
I
I'm
like that.
not.
Are you intentionally fading the consensus that Notre Dame is just automatically O-line number one?
I maybe not fading it. I mean, you know what? Actually, no. I mean, they're number two or number one. They're top
Yeah.
two to me. Are you fading them as the number one offensive line?
Not to a absurd degree because I do think they're one of the elites. I think that Georgia, Notre Dame, maybe Texas are the ones that have the highest potential. But
Yeah.
it seems too much of a consensus that Notre Dame's O-line is number one, like
Yeah.
across the industry.
Yeah, I mean, I think that like Georgia's youth a year. I don't know. I have faith in the Georgia offensive line this year. I think. Obviously, like people know, I'm not super high on them, to win a national championship, but I do think that they're going to be a tough out because of the offensive line, and also like that's the position I struggle with evaluating with entirely. I kind of like leave that up to coaches that I talk to because I'll tell you about receivers, I'll tell you about running backs, I'll tell you about quarterbacks, but I struggle kind of on the offensive line side of things. And it's weird, offensive line wise, like I think Indiana's going to have the best run blocking group in America.
Yes, if
But
healthy.
I don't think they're going to have the best pass blocking group in America.
I would also agree with that.
So it's like weird. It's like, but I also think run game is more important than throw game in terms of like staying on schedule. So if I do it by that metric, then like Indiana's my best offensive line in America. So it's like a weird delineation when it comes to them.
How I would put this is, if you could guarantee O-line health, I'd probably have IU starting 5 as the number 1 starting 5,
Yeah.
factoring in scheme. But knowing how often O-line injuries have occurred, like with every team, it always happens. Having only 13 offensive linemen on your like total roster means you're just not that deep, especially with the fact how like young they are behind the core starting 5. So I would probably put them higher than most other offensive lines outside of the 3 I mentioned, or particularly Notre Dame and Georgia. But what they have is special in terms of just upfront mauling in the run game.
Yeah, I think that's going to play early, and I think they're going to try to blow teams out to get backups in to try to protect their health even more. Do you have any particular order on your top 3 offensive line in the country? Am I jumping the gun on putting Georgia up there? I do this thing where I like to put unrealistic expectations on teams that I don't like, so when they fail, I can laugh at them and say I was a believer, and then you fell apart. So that maybe is part of my Georgia thing, but am I jumping the gun on having them as my number 1 offensive line?
No, because that's the O-line I'm going to put number 1. I'm
Okay.
pretty sure.
So we're on the same page, dude. People think that like maybe we collude, maybe I have groupthink, maybe you have groupthink, but we come to these conclusions differently. Now you look at the numbers. I'm a vibes guy.
I yin and yang of college football, brother. That's how this works.
Yeah.
And I'm, like Kris and I don't agree on everything. Like I really, really love Georgia and what they are. They're like, that's kind of the program in a sense that like I look up to in a way. And I mean, obviously with what Indiana,
you could say it, they're your gold standard of modern college football. You could say it. I won't say it because I don't like the way their coach talks, one, and I don't like the way that they go about offensive football in terms of Bobo, but that's because I'm a stickler for offensive football. But no, I mean, saying that Georgia's the gold standard is like not something that you're going to get a lot of hate from me for. I don't think they're going to win a natty, but the path for them to win a natty is there because of how good I think the offensive line could and should be.
Yeah, my what I'm looking for out of Georgia, not like maybe a little bit from fall camp, but especially in the regular season, is just the pass rush. That's really the only question I have about them, because their offense, while I will admit it can be bland, and there are moments where it's like, is this really anything special? The one positive of it is wide receiver proof. So I'm not really concerned about that receiver room with the tight ends they have. What I'm concerned about is like,
so you're not worried about their upper echelon receivers?
Not really, because if the defense comes together, and you should expect that out of a Kirby Smart team, then like they were the best national champion post-COVID year without George Pickens. And I know they had A.D. Mitchell, and I know they had Ladd McConkey, but they weren't like known. Yeah,
okay.
like that team won it all with O-line, Brock Bowers, running backs, allowing Bennett to.
I will grant you that, but my pushback is Ladd McConkey first rounder, Brock Bowers first rounder, and then my secondary pushback is they had aliens at defensive tackle.
Yeah.
Those type of aliens now reside at Oregon. Like Oregon has the Jordan Davis, Jalen Carter combo.
Agreed.
Or at least closer than what Georgia has. Now, is Georgia's D-line going to be good? Absolutely. Like I'm never going to say that. But what made that run ridiculous was the true alien nature of their defensive tackles.
Yeah, they need better D tackle play out of probably all of their tackles except for Elijah Griffin, and their DNs were not very good last year. They just
and again, like those championship teams, Nolan Smith was a ridiculous pass rusher. He ended up being a first rounder. Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter in the middle. Like they were legitimately. It looked like Engage 8 with just those 3 guys alone, because they were in the backfield. So like that is simply my pushback on Georgia. Like your explanation of them, but
I'm not picking that out at all.
You don't think they're going to win it all?
I'm not picking them to.
Oh,
There's only
yeah,
one
no,
team who can.
yeah. So we're on the same page. My pushback with the Mike Bobo thing, additionally, why I don't consider them like another problem is you can lay over when Mike Bobo was calling plays in the Georgia program and kind of like how those seasons ended. The very best version of Georgia is when they had an NFL coordinator calling plays, and I don't like the retread thing. But that's me again. But I'm just nitpicking the elite because they are at the back half of my top six. I'll find something we disagree on. Who are your top three quarterbacks in America?
Oh, top three is Chambliss, Moore, and Manning.
Okay, so you have Moore ahead of Manning.
Yes.
Okay, pretty comfortably.
I don't know about comfortably, but
Okay.
I like the stability that he had compared to Manning last year, who's a bit more up and down.
Okay, that was my next question, and my third question is: do you think Manning wears his black eyes louder than Dante Moore does because of the last name? Because there were some low lows for Dante Moore a year ago.
Oh, there were. There were. I there's a part of that that's the last name for sure.
Because think about if Arch Manning went out in the playoffs the same way that Dante Moore went out. I think that would be a monumental size black eye, and look, I think Dante Moore is awesome. I think he's got a real. I prefer Dante Moore. I mean, last year I did a whole segment on how he could challenge for quarterback one more than people were willing to be comfortable with because of the traits and the tools. Now, obviously, we didn't end up even getting to that point because he came back and Mendoza ended up being the number one overall pick. I think though that my wondering is are the black eyes just that much louder for Arch Manning because Dante Moore kind of gets excused for how they went out last year.
A little bit. Yeah. A little bit for sure. I mean, Indiana was able to put him in a blender.
Yeah, 100%.
Absolutely. Twice. Like twice.
Yeah,
just once,
and
but
I
twice.
guess, and that's my question because like when we saw Arch Manning get put in a blender week one against Ohio State, it took the first half of the year to say like, is he good? Is he not good? If you look at Dante Moore against good teams last year, 186 the first time they played Indiana, he threw for 86 yards against Wisconsin. It was raining pretty bad in that game. Against number 20 Iowa, threw for 112 yards. Like again, that's a good team. Now he did look good against USC. We would look good against USC, obviously, with the way that those guys tackle. Given
you and I could play running back against USC's defense last year and average 4 yards per carry.
100%. It looked weird at times versus Texas Tech, but I'll give him a thumbs up.
Also, Texas Tech's defense was like Miami's if Miami's played linebacker. Like that was. Yeah. Like they had Miami's defensive front with actual linebackers behind them. Like they would have, since Miami gave Indiana issues, I think Tech would have given Indiana issues. Indiana just would have shut them out too, so they would have never lost. But
bingo,
that defense was nuts.
It was, and against that defense, one of the better, probably the best defense they played all year outside of Indiana. One pick, no touchdowns. So I don't know. I'm nitpicking a little bit, and I am curious. How close is Mensa to that upper echelon group if we're going to tier list guys?
That's interesting because I think a lot of the quarterbacks that I look at, like really last year, every QB with the exception of Chambliss and Mendoza had like really bad performances against the top. Like Mendoza and Chambliss almost got better when they faced better competition. They were able to scale their performances. Like,
well, you know where that comes from.
Where?
It comes from everywhere Trinidad and everywhere Mensa had been. They were used to playing with a talent disadvantage.
I was saying Mendoza.
Oh, I mean, same with Mendoza.
Yeah.
Like Mendoza at Cal, they were punching up every week.
Yeah. But when, like, I like Mensa, and I think he's better than Beck. But let's not forget some of the turnovers against Illinois.
Oh, he's loose with the football. He's really loose with the football.
Or like letting Virginia almost shut them out the first time. Like,
well, he gets underanalyzed because he was the Duke quarterback.
Yeah, but he's really good. I mean, to have a QBR and passer rating that he did and to like carry them to wins in offensive shootouts means
Mhm.
that there's something there. Like he's very, very talented.
Yeah. I have heard a lot of positive things. Dante Moore, more downfield shots this year, kind of an emphasis at Oregon, kind of want to like ebb you downfield on some play action stuff. I know that like Hudson Lewis, true freshman, there was like a clip of those two connecting deep. So I'm excited about like the kind of the Dante Moore journey. But I guess I'm just curious quarterback wise, where you were at with Dante Moore, where you were at with Arch Manning in particular. And that next group, who's your fourth? Is it they're close? And then do you have
Neck and neck.
Julian Sand really close too, or is he a little bit of a gap based
I
on feel?
I I honestly have like this collection of 8 to 9 QBs that I think could be number
And
1.
then
I
next
mean,
year, okay.
I mean, I think I have
It's a deep. I mean, it's a deep quarterback group.
you will disagree with this, but I'm listing this based off like college QB play, not
Oh
upside.
no,
So like
that's how
it,
I analyze things.
I have Sayan, Carr, and like Stockton of the next 3 in kind of any order. I think
Okay,
that Carr and Sayan are better throwers than Stockton, but Stockton has this element with his legs that can be very, very valuable on a good team.
I
And he
have a
doesn't make mistakes either.
I have a wide gap between Carr and Stockton
I can see it.
personally. Um, yeah, and I think
From an
CJ Carr
NFL
is
standpoint, for sure.
no, I'm just talking about just college standpoint. I think
Really?
that like Carr can create with his legs without looking to run, looking to look like throwing downfield. And also I think like machine wise and mechanically wise, he's advanced so much as a passer from week 6 on last year that this year I think you're gonna get like here we go. The most likely to replicate what Mendoza meant to Indiana to me is CJ Carr at Notre Dame. Most
Oh,
likely to
wow.
replicate what Mendoza meant.
Wow. That that
So
that will be interesting for
yeah.
sure because of the change that Notre Dame has offensively. Like they're just not going to have the same run game they did last year.
I
So they're going to
agree.
need better QB play.
I agree, but like, honestly, it's funny because like the offensive system, I think valued. Like, I mean, their offensive playbook looks different than they like to call plays. The Denbrock likes to call play traditionally, in large part because of how good those running backs were. I mean, if you think about like his time at LSU, it was we're gonna go wide and win a Heisman. I think like they made the internal adjustment because of how good those 2 running backs were. And when they brought Jawan Sider down from Penn State, that was kind of one of the things that he really wanted to do because he thought that Notre Dame room was better than any Penn State room he had been in.
Which is just insane given like all the talented Penn State rooms he was in.
Yeah, bingo. But no, I'm excited because I think these quarterbacks, what is going to be the most fascinating is like what team makes the commitment to what I'm calling the 3-point ball. And the 3-point ball is like overloading downfield shots, which I think is going to be the new meta in college football this year. If you have the offensive line play, make corners cover because corners are one of the more scarce positions in college football in 2026.
So let's expound upon that and then maybe talk about some defensive line stuff because so
Yeah,
far Indiana has won that 5th year of eligibility for the 2022 class in like a very big
absolutely,
way.
dude. And I defensive line that was already top 5 for both of us just got a lot better since
Yeah.
the last time we
It's
talked. But yeah,
so actually we can do that first since we're
okay.
already talking about it. Oregon's starting 4 is like obviously from an NFL angle, number 1, from a talent angle, number
Mhm.
1. When I look at Indiana's though, like where would you slot them?
Where would I slot them in terms of like on the like D lines that I want? I mean, it's
Yeah.
number 2, but if I wake up tomorrow, it could be number 1. Like it's number 2 with 0 conviction. Like right now, I like Oregon's more. I am, and here we go. This is where Kris Drew needs to like work on how I cover the sport. I told everybody that if Indiana won a natty, it would change the fabric of how we cover the sport. I'm wrestling with right now. Do I trust you on Saturday or do I trust you on Sunday when I'm looking at defensive lines? Because while Indiana had a great defensive line a year ago, it looked different when I watched Miami's defensive line a year ago. I think the
Absolutely.
closest to what Miami could like the how Miami looked disruptive wise is Oregon. But at the same time, you're looking at Indiana, and maybe their tackles for loss aren't for 4 yards the same way Miami's and Georgia's were, but it's a bunch of 1 to 2 yard tackle for losses that really like pile up over time. And it's like paper cut, paper cut, paper cut. You look down, you're standing in a pool of blood. That's the kind of body blows that Indiana's defensive line implores. And look, they added back double-digit tackles for loss with these two, and these two weren't a part of the playoffs.
No, but they were like
they were
daily
beforehand. You and I got on a show or talked maybe off camera about after the Big Ten title game, that injury and how big of a deal that is. And then, we're in the semifinals, and you forget that even happened.
Yeah. And because of that, they now have, I would say, 6 playable defensive ends who are good or better at the college level, which is absurd.
Disgusting. And they'll go NASCAR package. They'll play 4 of them on third down. They're going to go get you on third down. So I am very, very high on Indiana. And I was just talking to Tyler right before I got on here, and we were talking about re-ranking some things. Because right now in my top 25, I have Oregon, Texas, Notre Dame, Indiana, and I am very tempted with these 2 defensive linemen coming back to flip Notre Dame and Indiana. And I'm not going to touch Texas and Oregon at 1 and 2 because of how ridiculous those rosters are. And my stance is it's now or never, because you might have the last 2 deep and just uber talented in terms of like how much money you poured into the roster. So I'm not going to budge off you 1 and 2 because you should be the number 1 and number 2 team in America. But that number 3 slot, I'm really close to giving to Indiana.
I like my Indiana slot at number 2 more and more. Like looking at things and getting these defensive linemen back. I think they'll have the best college front 7 in America, factoring in their starting linebackers with this defensive line.
Yeah, probably a top 3 linebacker core.
Yes,
like production.
I think only Notre Dame and Georgia have an argument as of right now to be better.
I have Notre Dame as my top linebacker core in America.
Yeah, it's those 2 are incredible and have a bit of NFL talent and even depth that IU just doesn't quite have at linebacker.
Yeah.
But I would take IU's D-line and production there over Georgia's and Notre Dame's right now pretty clearly with what they're bringing back. So teams that can attack downfield, and then I know we've really drawn out the fall camp stuff, but I really enjoy this, and we'll get to the preseason polls, college football fantasy. So those meta teams that can attack downfield in the Big Ten, I'm thinking like Indiana, Oregon, Ohio State, like all the big 3 should be able to do that to some degree based on personnel. Anyone I'm missing in the Big Ten that could do that?
USC, right? I think USC will be able to push the ball down the field, unless you said them and I just totally glossed over it.
No, I didn't say them.
Okay, so I think USC will be able to push the ball down the field. I think there is an emphasis for a lot of these universities to push the ball down the field, because I think you're gonna need that, because it's gonna be tougher and tougher during the postseason to string together several long drives to go score. And also, there is just a surplus of receivers because of 7-on-7 play, and not a surplus of corners currently in college football for 2026. And because of that, I think that like SIG recognizes the meta. I'm going to have to push the ball down the field a healthy amount. And last year, they kind of dabbled in it with like the back shoulder fade and like college corners having no clue how to defend it, paired with Mendoza's ridiculous idea of like placement. So I think you're going to see a lot of these schools really, really attempt to push the ball down the field more often this year than they did last year. And I also think like with the clock rules, I think looking to score quickly once or twice a game is going to be kind of how offensive play calling gets kind of squeezed. Because like the idea is this, Sam, and I talked to an OC about this. If I can score really, really quickly to start the first quarter or start the second quarter, that's more valuable than me having a long drive to open the game. Because if I can score quickly and then go start going on these long drives, I've given myself a cushion. I'm giving myself a lead. And that's kind of the path to blowout that SIG and Indiana kind of paved the way for a year ago. So I'm expecting a lot more teams to really look to push the ball on the field. Because I think that's going to be the new heavyweight fight way to do things. B, because of the clock rules. And C, you just said it. There's 8 quarterbacks. You can make a case for being number one. I think the quarterback talent is going to allow coordinators to feel more comfortable with that approach as well.
That makes sense. I can certainly buy that. We know that Texas will want to do this for sure.
Bingo.
I mean, maybe LSU. Like I look at the SEC.
No. You're gonna see it. There's an emphasis there at LSU right now. If you go and even look at practice footage from when media was there, you will see a couple of absolute ridiculous deep shots from Sam Levet. And outside, while they are unproven, they're really fast out there.
Yeah, they got a lot of speedsters from like G5.
I'm telling you, Sam, you are going to be blown away by the amount of downfield shots that are taken.
Nice. Well, hey, that'll make this season even more exciting. So,
bingo.
Yeah. All right. Well, you want to get to talking about some of these top 25s?
Yeah, let's do it, dude. I love a top 25 talk.
All right. So, first off, we got On3, which I think is just like all the On3 creators and writers like voting, and this is their average.
Which is
Thoughts
now
here?
everybody works for On3 now.
It's disgusting, man.
It is,
It's
dude.
so nasty.
It is, dude. Okay, so we have like that top row. I don't really have too many complaints with. I don't have Ohio State one, just simply off the fact that I don't think Ohio State has a top 3 roster in America.
Yeah. No, I it's kind of funny. Like it's a little bit shocking to me how much the consensus is they're number one.
Yeah,
and I
Vegas
think it's
coaches poll now On3 poll.
I think it's an overreaction to last year, where I will admit I was too low on them. But like Josh Pate had them 6th in one of his preseason polls last year. Like a lot of people had them in that like 5 to 6 range. So I think after everyone thought, okay, they lose a lot, including their coaches after 2024, and they reloaded, which like they did relative to everyone else. But actually, this is an interesting question.
This is an overcorrection.
Yeah. How much do you think the 2024 team beats the 2025 team by in a neutral field?
Pretty healthy amount.
I would agree with that.
A pretty healthy amount.
Yes.
I mean, like running back better, offensive line better. I mean, you still have Jeremiah Smith and Emeka. That's a better receiver core. Will Howard probably gives you more like college quarterback flavor that you like in a big game like that. I mean, defensive line first rounders. You have 2 defensive ends. They're still trying to figure that out at Ohio State right now. You still have Caleb Downs. Like, yeah, like give me that 2024 group. But again, that 2024 group won a natty. So yeah,
exactly. Yeah. No, it's just that's an exercise that I think like
it's a good healthy exercise. Yeah.
Yeah. Like we have to look at that and say like they reloaded, because most programs, if they were to lose that, would not, they'd fall off very quickly. But there was a noticeable drop off still. It wasn't like they were immediately the same team as they were the year before. So yeah, I think overcorrection is a good way to phrase that.
Bingo. On here, I think Indiana is far too low, but if they don't learn now, they'll never know.
Why do they?
I have Miami ranked ahead of Georgia in my personal rankings. I don't think you agree with me on that front.
No,
that's where we are separated, and I'm a lot higher on what Cristobal's teams are going to do offensively than I am Georgia, and I'm going to continue to punish Georgia for Mike Bobo until I'm proven wrong. I don't have Ole Miss in my top 10 either.
No.
I think them and A&M are the biggest like regression guys. They're regression fellas.
So before we get to that, why do you think Indiana's like so? Why did people drop them over the preseason?
Because On3 is a slop container that has recruiting services, and for the recruiting services purposes, you keep up the appearance of this is the most important thing by ranking all the team sites that I have ahead of them, because those team sites get more traction because there's more interest in 4- and 5-star players with that first group of 5.
Wow, very cynical.
You wanted me to do it, Sam? I'll do it. I'll say it.
Very cynical, but I do not disagree with that at all.
I mean, you can't tell me that, like, hey, pay for this, insider. Someone talk to so-and-so's uncle's brother's grandfather's boss, because we have insight about where, their great nephew second removed is going, because he's a force like
great nephew second removed.
Yeah, I think that recruiting matters. But if you looked at Indiana a year ago and said, I know they're more talented than last year, but like we have these 5 teams ahead of them. Then you're just doing you're just scanning through 5-stars and only relying on that. Is it an important data point? Yeah, but like, come on, man.
Yeah, it's
Don't make the
weird.
same mistakes twice.
Yeah.
Didn't your grandma ever tell you that?
I don't get the A&M love either.
Dude, I'm cool on A&M, bro. I think LSU's better. I think USC's better. I think
Texas Tech is way better.
Thank you. I think Alabama's probably right there.
No, though they're better.
Okay, they're better. Then we'll do it. Honestly, Tyler, I had this take earlier with Tyler. Shout out Tyler. And he tried to tell me that I wouldn't take Bama over A&M neutral site today. And I was like, I think I would. And he was like, well, let me relook. But he's really high on Marcel Reed. And he's really high on Mike Elko. He's a pure coach guy. But like I like Bama more than A&M for sure.
I like Mike Elko too, but Kalen DeBoer is probably a better coach than Mike Elko, and he probably has the better QB than Elko does.
Bang, bang, bang! You nailed it. So
they also have the #1 secondary in America,
and I think that's being undersold right now. I mean, that's going to pay dividends because what did we just talk about? We talked about opportunity shots.
Yeah,
it's going to be unique when teams try to go downfield on them.
Like I know they lost like Quay Russa to Ohio State. Like same with James Smith
but,
too.
He was hurt so much.
Well, yeah, like that's either. So my take about that is either that's going to be mutually beneficial, or that's like going to be only a good thing for Alabama because they were older and Alabama had younger players that they were rotating in. So like that's something that could really benefit Ohio State, but I don't think it's going to hurt Alabama that they left.
That's real. I also wouldn't rank Tennessee or Florida in my top 25. You guys got to do something.
Tennessee doesn't have a defensive line.
Yeah, they got me out there at left defensive end. So I'm not doing it. I like Florida. I like Faulkner a lot. I like Philo a lot. I like Evan Pryor a lot, but I'm not ranking either of those two schools until they do something. In fact, I'd rather sneak Oklahoma State in there.
Yeah. Are you looking at this being overrated or underrated from a power ratings angle or like win-loss record angle?
This has to be it can't it has to be power rated. It can't be wins lost and have Ohio State and Texas top 5.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, like this can't be wins loss.
Well, like it could be because like if you win a national title with 3 losses, you'll be ranked #1.
Okay.
Which is so weird because I haven't seen a lot of people pick Ohio State to win it all.
I guess when you say win-loss, think about your win-loss record at the end of the regular season.
Okay. No, they don't have any specific criteria like a lot of these top 25s don't. No. So it's really hard to it's confusing.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, looking at Joel Klatt's top 25, little bit different for sure.
Yeah. At least I feel like Klatt is thoughtful enough. Definitely feels more thoughtful and less sloppy. But Oregon 1, Notre Dame 2, Ohio State 3, Miami 4, Indiana 5, I think is a better top 5 than the On3 group. I think so. I don't know where you stand with that.
It's difficult because I'm lower on Miami, and I think that like having Texas outside the 7. Top 5.
Yeah, Texas 7 is aggressive.
It's like, I think LSU could beat them, but only because it's in Death Valley and it's in a back-to-back road game stretch. Like,
you know what Klatt did here?
What?
And this is where I love Klatt. This is disingenuous from him. He just didn't want to put an SEC team in his top 5.
Probably not. No.
Yeah, that's just Klatt being disingenuous. Like Texas is a top 5 team. Klatt wanted to do this to not put any SEC teams in his top 5.
People will disagree with me on this, but like there are like probably 2 to 3 teams that are ranked behind Miami that would either I would favor over them or they would destroy them based on matchups. Like Indiana's RPO system against those linebackers without the pass rush would be immediate death.
Yeah.
Like the minute you get on the field.
Yeah, that would be death. That'd be a bad deal. But again, I'd pick Indiana over all these teams on a one game basis.
I mean, Texas
Yeah, I mean,
Texas against Miami.
Orbit motions would shred Miami. Like, it just would. Right? Like, I'm not bugging. Like, it absolutely would. Like, Sark would do his thing.
Yeah, I mean the minute you get this is probably being a bit too harsh, so I'll tone down the initial thought. But if you got, I mean, Ohio State could run the ball on Miami if they got past the initial 4. Like,
Yeah.
and that was more of an indictment on Miami's linebackers and to a lesser degree safeties than like anything else. Indiana did the same thing. Like,
well, it's like you can't.
Ole Miss did the same thing with a hurt Kejuan Lacey. He just got past the D tackle, and there was just wide open space.
Grass. Yeah. I mean, that's the thing, right? Like Sark will isolate bad linebackers. Yeah. The reason he struggles in big games is because, like, the better you get, like in baseball, your left field gets better. The better you get, like the deeper you get in the postseason, traditionally, you will face a linebacker in space at some point. So you want like freaks and aliens, but no, I'd agree with that. But again, I think Klatt was being disingenuous here, just not trying to rank an SEC team in the top 5.
Which is funny because I think outside of Texas and maybe to a lesser degree Georgia, I think it panned out well. Like A&M at 13th is, I think, still too high, but much better than a lot of people have them. Ole Miss at 16th, I think, is very appropriate. I liked the Louisville love and the Oklahoma State love.
Me too.
Still don't get why Tennessee's that high, but I think people might just be overvaluing the good coaching additions and not thinking like, okay, that's probably more of a long-term thing, not a year one solution.
Yeah. Do you feel like USC is too low? Do you have USC above or below Michigan? I guess is kind of where I see this, because Klatt has Michigan 10, Texas Tech 11, USC 12.
So in doing researches with rosters, I came away thinking that I went in thinking I'd put USC ahead of Michigan. I came away saying that I couldn't power rate USC ahead of Michigan. Like, I think Michigan is deeper and might be favored neutral field. I haven't exactly figured out how that matchup would go, but I think Michigan's a better quality team. However, I think USC's schedule is better aligned to what they want to do versus Michigan's. So I think USC has a higher chance of winning it all or reaching the playoff.
And how much do you value the deep ball, the 3 ball?
That's true, but if USC center is out for the season, and I don't think their O-line is super deep.
That's a huge blow.
To the Riley system in particular, I was talking with someone who like knows scheme better than I do, and he's like, yeah, that specifically for that offense, that's rough. And like that's a thing where I don't know. It's going to be a test for them, but USC is a team that I'm pretty bullish on. I would have them top 10 personally, but that's because I would probably switch them and like Oklahoma, for example.
I'm trying to think. I'll pull up my top 25 real quick.
I mean, USC, Michigan, Oklahoma, and LSU, from my perspective, are almost the same team power ratings wise. Like, they're very, very different. But they would be about like they're all like top 10, top 12 quality, like comfortably in that range.
That's fair. No, I'm with you. I'm with you on that. But I thought Klatt did a good job. I would have Bama a lot higher.
I think 15th is appropriate.
You think 15th is appropriate for Bama?
I mean,
I like them more than A&M, I guess, is like what I'm going to keep dying on.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Because like A&M 13, like honestly, I might just flip them.
But I'd probably put SMU and Louisville around where Alabama is or ahead.
Okay. I hear you on that. That's real. That's good. Look at that. Look at us, dude. Kind of thinking through things. No, that's good.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. So you wanted to talk about college fantasy.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you want to get to before we get to that?
No, I just want to ask you, like, who, like, if you had one maybe like player that isn't super well known, or in the first round of a fantasy college football draft, where's Sam going? Like, where's your head at?
You want to go by position, because like I'm not really good.
Let's go by position. Like stuff. What quarterback? Obviously, yards, touchdowns, and rushing touchdowns are the big things that you want.
Yards. So say that again, please.
Yards, touchdowns, and rushing touchdowns. Rushing touchdowns for quarterbacks are worth more than passing touchdowns.
Really?
Yeah, that makes it fascinating.
Hold on. I gotta.
Because I think like my head goes like Trinidad would be quarterback 1. But
I
then
would
I
think
wonder,
so, but that schedule's so hard.
yeah.
So hard.
You wonder about Mestamaker. A boatload of yards. Should have a lot of touchdowns. They're going to be airing it out.
Kevin Jennings, maybe.
Jennings, 3,600 yards a year ago.
Yeah.
But his rushing numbers were not what you may think they are.
Yeah, like that's the thing. Like you gotta think a lot of rushing touchdowns. You gotta think easy schedule. You have to think passing touchdowns. You're gonna hate this. So this guy had 34 touchdowns total a year ago. 10 were rushing.
Who?
They have an easier schedule this year and worse receivers. Should be a better team overall.
Gunnar Stockton.
Yes.
Gunnar Stockton.
That is who I would go with.
Gunnar Stockton, quarterback wise.
Mobile, Weasley should be better as a downfield and intermediate passer after being a first-year starter. Has really good tight ends.
Doesn't turn the ball over till you lose points for turnovers.
Yep, doesn't do that. And their schedule compared to last year is a cakewalk.
Yeah.
What defense do they play outside of Oklahoma's that I respect?
They play a bunch of me and yous.
And they should be able to do pretty good things against Oklahoma still.
Yeah. That's
right. That's where I think I'd go.
Good call. What about running back wise? For me, it's pretty easy. You go Lacey.
Yeah. I mean
with Ahmad Hardy's health, you just don't know.
Yeah. Like you got to go with someone who's a bell cow. So like I love Indiana's running backs, but they have 3 good ones. They're going to rotate them a ton.
Bingo.
Texas, Oregon, same thing. I will go Justice Haynes with Georgia Tech.
Oh, okay. Yeah, usage rate, they're good. Yeah, I'm with that. I love Justice.
And he's probably top 5 back in the sport.
100% top 5 back in the sport. Yes.
I would take him.
Yep, that's good. And then receiver wise, outside of the obvious.
Yeah, because
unless it's not obvious, people have said that like maybe Malachi Tony in fantasy, but I think that Jeremiah Smith's going to get the ball a billion times this year.
I think so too. It depends on whether the Arthur Smith that used his wide receiver one as a decoy or the one that force fed them shows up.
I think
he'd be the obvious one.
Yeah, I think they're gonna force feed him. Malachi Tony and Cam Coleman are the only other 2 you go. Or here we go, the dark horse, not even dark horse, but the one that could end up being receiver 2 or 1 is KJ Duff.
Ooh,
they're gonna be down a lot. He's really productive. I don't think Strong is there this year. No, he's gonna get force fed. And there's this thing about bad quarterback theory. When you have a bad quarterback, he'll just throw it your way no matter what.
Yeah.
So
yeah. No, I get that. I mean, Jeremiah Smith I'd love, and I would probably take him if I could, but let's say for argument's sake I couldn't.
Yeah, fourth pick.
And there's also that like, yeah, there's fourth pick. So yeah, we automatically pick him. Gosh, KJ Duff is good. I'm trying to think like
look what he did against Penn State last year. He was terrorizing them.
I'm trying to think of like not tough schedule though, because like why am I doing this? I'm just looking through my notes. Sorry everyone that I'm taking a bit long of a time.
I'm proud of you for continuing to talk. My thing is dead air sports, because when I need to formulate a thought or do some research, I just go silent. It's a lot of dead air.
Which is, I think it's good. I would probably, so I think you have a few candidates. I think you could go with Ian Strong at Cal due to JKS, Jaronkia Sagapolatele, I think is how you say his name.
Yeah, good job. Shout out Ian Strong, man. Him and KJ Duff were teammates a year ago, dude.
You could go with TJ Morick, like one of the Clemson receivers. I think you could go with. One of mine would be Charlie Becker.
I was gonna say, do you go Becker or Marsh? Who do you like more?
Oh, I like Becker more than Marsh.
Big Beck, baby.
Ohio State's defense is playing like its best game of the 2020s, and like Mendoza's like, oh, this guy's covered. Let me throw like a very deep shot to him, and then Becker. He just catch, like against Miami and Ohio State. He's like catching everything. It's
Dude, it was 3rd and 1. 3rd and 1. Ohio State needs to stop to get the ball back and try to win the game, and they go Charlie Becker go ball with
of course they do.
Amari Cooper and
And,
Elijah Surratt.
that's another reason. It's another reason I would do that.
Yeah,
Because if like they trusted him that much, and now like he's going to be their wide receiver 1 and playing for the whole year.
yeah, it's gonna be crazy. That's a fun exercise. So thank you for doing it with me.
Any thoughts on like overall defense for fantasy or tight end?
Overall defense, I'm taking Indiana.
I
No
would
matter
too.
what. No matter
Like,
what.
TFL's sacks takeaway.
No matter what. Give me
Yeah.
Indiana.
Yeah. If there is one honorable mention, oh boy, I'm like, so what goes into fantasy defense?
Every tackle for loss is a negative point. I believe every turnover can be like maybe 4 points. Those are the 2 big ones. You lose points for yards and points scored against you. So if a team goes over like 200 yards, you lose a couple points. A team scores, like 14 points, you lose 1 point. If they score 21 points, you lose another point. But if you get sacks and they score those points, it doesn't even matter.
Honorable mentions Texas Tech then.
Oh yeah,
that schedule is easy. It'd be them or Notre Dame would be honorable mention. Like,
yeah,
who's scoring on them outside of maybe Miami for
100%.
Notre Dame?
100%.
Yeah. For tight end, I would have to go with probably
the kid from Oregon, right?
Probably Jamari Johnson because Georgia's too deep there. They're going to rotate. I would have gone Georgia, but they have like 4 good tight ends, and I don't think any of them are bad. Another one's Mark Bowman.
Okay.
USC.
Yep. Bowman believer. I'm a Bowman believer.
I'm a Bowman believer too. I think yeah, it's going to be such a fun season. I'm so excited. I can't contain it.
Me too. I love you, Sam. Yeah. That's a good episode though, dude.
Yeah, it was. I mean, is there anything else you want to touch on? Anything you want to insult before we get out of here?
No, I got my insults, in there, but I got the gloves coming off in a little bit, so no worries. No, I'm good. I'm good on the insulting right now.
All right, perfect. Well, we love having you on. Love talking football with you. Thank you all so much for watching. Make sure to check out Kris Drew's content over on Dead Air Sports. They're starting up they're restarting
Buckeye Roast. Yeah, Buckeye Roast is back with the fellas. So that's like really in-depth Ohio State coverage.
Yeah. So check out them for all of that good stuff. And we will see you all very soon.